The following is a fan-made top 10 list. All clips are owned by their respective networks. All other clips and music are owned by their respective owners. We encourage our viewers to support the official content and support the independent artists on their official platforms. Hey Chris, do we know of any Christmas or holiday animated shows?
Well, there is one.
No, I don't want to cover Boobs the anime. We have the Teo Tange review for that.
Well, unless we start doing movies, what else is there?
Want to do a top 10? First time for everything.
Sure, why not?
Hey y'all, Mike and Codename Chris here, and welcome to a pretty odd review this, where today, instead of covering one show, we're gonna do 10.
That's right, we're gonna go over some of our favorite holiday-themed episodes, in no particular order, from a variety of snows.
Is that a weather-based pun?
Yes, Mike. Yes, it is.
Well, at this rate, we'll be called Sun for Hire. Get it? Because sun rhymes with fun?
Okay, Mike, my joke was bad, but I'm pretty sure yours caused people's hearts to shrink 3 sizes this day.
Oh, I thought it was funny.
Right. Well, while Mike thinks of more puns to tick off our audience, why don't we start off our holiday top 10 the way any top 10 should begin, with a Marvel parody.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Number 10.
Codename Kids Next Door is probably one of those shows we might talk about down the road, so we won't go into too much detail for the series. Basically, the KND are a group of kid secret agents determined to protect all of childkind from the tyranny of adults, teenagers, and even some not-so-good kids. Something fun about this show is that the name of each episode is a mission anagram. For example, the Christmas episode is called Operation Naughty, which stands for Ninny's Almost Undo Greatest Holiday This Year. The team we normally follow, the members of Sector V, are accused of stealing a very special object called the reindeer from Santa, putting Christmas at risk. So, a special team of elves are tasked with taking down Sector V and bringing back the reindeer, especially if it means a beatdown. Still, you're probably thinking, didn't you mention a Marvel parody? And yeah, this entire episode is also a parody of Marvel heroes. The team of elves sent after Sector V is called Alpha Strike, and they're stand-ins for the X-Men. You got a Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Storm, and a Colossus. And later in the episode, they fight a team of villains that are also stand-ins for heroes. Throughout the episode, there's even a Stan Lee-esque narration that at the beginning calls us true believers. You can tell the writers had a lot of fun, and because of that, you have a lot of fun. It may seem a bit silly at times, but that's how Christmas can be. It's an episode I love seeing every time this year, and you'll find yourself saying both Merry Christmas and Excelsior!
Number 9.
The Rugrats Hanukkah special is, in my opinion, a great introduction to the Jewish faith. We see Tommy and the Rugrats traveling through a few stories as they learn lessons about their ancestors. Throughout time, the Jews have overcome ordeal after ordeal, from cities being destroyed to not having the oil needed to keep the menorah alight. In this episode, we come away with the moral of being strong and sticking with your faith, no matter what the adversity. Tommy's grandfather even reminds the children to remember who they are and remember their history. Rugrats in general is an amazing show, as it shows us life through the eyes of toddlers. The weird misconceptions and wild adventures the kids go on is truly a fun experience, and the art style screams 90s animation.
Number 8.
The grim adventures of Billy and Mandy are about 2 kids named Billy and Mandy, who go through crazy experiences with their friend, the Grim Reaper, named Grim. I'm not going to explain exactly how or why, but if you watch this episode, you'll get an idea for what this show is like. This Christmas, we find our titular heroes at the mall, originally in line for the bathroom, meeting a mall Santa. After a mall riot, which also kinda screams Christmas, Grim sets out to prove to Mandy that Santa Claus is real, only for them to find out that Christmas needs to be saved because... yeah, I'm just gonna tell you right now, Santa has been turned into a vampire. Now they have to set out to turn Santa back to normal and save Christmas. Now I'm not gonna spoil the ending, cause that's part of why it's funny, but I will say that it's kinda disturbing seeing Vampire Santa say, "I'll swallow your soul." However, it's also kinda funny cause the voice for Santa is Gilbert Gottfried, and him yelling something terrifying, it gets an awkward chuckle out of me every time. There's a lot of moments like that throughout the episode, and that's what makes Billy and Mandy fun. If you're one of those people that whips out gremlins this time of year, then I'm sure you'll enjoy this episode.
Number 7.
It all started 2 million years ago, with our main character Zim raising money by making Gur eat snow. Zim then abducts a Santa as they show to raise more money, which spirals after he extracts all of their Christmas knowledge. A plot is then hatched to recruit all Earthlings to labor at the North Pole to build a teleporter to the mothership. I've always liked the art style of Invader Zim, and the way this episode really flows brings it to life. Another great aspect of this show is world building, with several locations being shown and most filled to the brim with characters. That being said, this is more of a darker episode when it comes to the holiday spirit, as by the end of the episode, we see Santa is now a giant monster controlling the planet.
Number 6.
Now Danny is trapped in the ghostwriter's poem and has to do whatever he can to get out. I won't say how Danny gets out of the poem, but it doesn't and does end the way you think it will, which is part of the fun. A lot of the rhymes are really impressive.
Number 5.
Who does a review on shows for Christmas? Fun for hire. In this SpongeBob Christmas special, we watch as SpongeBob introduces the concept of Santa Claus to Bikini Bottom. Our special begins with Hatchet the Pirate getting ready for his own Christmas before showing what our friends are up to. After assuming Sandy's dome is on fire, SpongeBob rushes in to put out the flames. But lo and behold, it's just a Christmas tree. Sandy then educates SpongeBob on Christmas lore, and he in turn spreads Christmas joy throughout Bikini Bottom. This episode has some great jokes, like Patrick wishing for another piece of paper and Squidward threatening bodily harm to SpongeBob mid-song. In the end, it's Squidward that ends up saving the day by just posing as Santa and giving away all of his stuff just to make SpongeBob happy. We then get a glimpse of a pretty enthusiastic Santa riding up to the surface. How is he breathing?
Number 4.
Static Shock is a superhero show that takes place in the DC animated universe, about a teenage superhero with electricity powers named, well, Static. Frozen Out as an episode embodies the spirit of something that we should keep, not just during the holidays, but all year round, helping and giving to those less fortunate. I like to watch this episode every year to remind myself that there are those in need, especially during winter. And yeah, the message for this episode can be heavy-handed.
Number 3.
One of my favorite shows, Ed, Edd n Eddy, had its own set of Christmas episodes, with Fa La La Ed being a true treasure. The premise of this episode is our lunky friend Ed thinking it's Christmas after Double D gets hit with a fruitcake. Christmas in July ensues as the Eds spread Christmas joy while scamming the kids out of the cul-de-sac as usual. The Eds really get into the spirit of Christmas when they start decorating the tree. Then Eddie gets back with a giant sack of Jawbreakers. Ed then proceeds to give them all away in the spirit of giving, making him a good elf. There's also a bunch of hidden secrets in this episode. Watch closely. Here's a challenge for our viewers. See if you can find the Jetsons reference in this episode.
Number 2.
I think everyone knows about Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, so all I'll say about it is to go out and please watch these shows if you haven't, and even if you have, just watch them again. Now, Comfort and Joy is an episode of Justice League Unlimited about 3 different stories that take place in 3 different locations during Christmas with our heroes. After saving an alien planet, the Justice League look forward to a good holiday rest. We first focus on Hawkgirl and John Stewart, Green Lantern. Hawkgirl, being a stranger, decides to take John on an unconventional trip to show how she spends her time during the holidays. And let's just say, it gets a bit rowdy. Our second focus is on the Flash and a supervillain named Ultra Humanite, who try to bring a little Christmas cheer to those who need it the most. The story is fairly simple and definitely the more humorous part of the episode, but still very sweet and carries its weight along with the other 2. The last focus, to me personally, is the best. It focuses on Superman and the Martian Manhunter, John Jones, as John is invited to the Kent farm for Christmas. Now, both Clark and John are both aliens, but while Clark grew up on Earth with all its customs and traditions, John is still very much a stranger. We see our traditions through the view of someone who has absolutely no idea how we celebrate, while also feeling distant because he has no one to celebrate his way. As John goes through the night, he sees our worries, our traditions, and even does his best to still be a hero for those who really need it on Christmas. I loved this segment of the episode, and the episode as a whole. Please give it a watch this holiday season. as it's something I really love.
Number 1.
Now, while the rest of the episodes on this list we don't really consider worst to best, they're honestly all great, we put this one at this spot because of the lists that me and Mike came up with. This was the episode that popped up for us both, so it definitely means a lot to us. Hey Arnold is about a football-headed kid who lives in an inner-city boarding house and his slice-of-life adventures as he grows up. A simple premise, but very much hyper-emphasized through the eye of a kid, and you can tell the show has a lot of heart, and this episode is no exception. During a Secret Santa draw for the boarding house, Arnold pulls the name of one of his tenants, Mr. Hune. After a little digging on Arnold's part, he finds out that Mr. Hune lost something very precious to him and has spent years looking for it in the city. Arnold, now filled with hope, says that will be his gift for Christmas no matter what. There's also an important side story where Arnold's bully, Helga, who has a crush on Arnold, tries to find him the perfect gift. What really makes this episode for me is the story about Mr. Hune's loss, and it never fails to make me cry. And how ultimately, this episode is about hope. And what better time for it than Christmas?
Well, that's our 10 holiday episodes we thought really encapsulate the holiday spirit. While being in no particular order, we really do like the Hey Arnold episode as our top choice if we had one. Do you feel the same about it? Let us know in the comments below if we are right or morons.
And if you want the latest from Fun for Hire, subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest on when we post. Happy holidays!